What I want to know is, like, with these reality TV shows where they take this struggling something, a struggling business or a person struggling with issues, they fix the issue on the program. How many times do you reckon it just sticks? Like,
well,
they relapse after day one.
Well, luckily we have an amazing example, and the only way that we can definitively track it is something like Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah.
Where we can actually just see which restaurants are open still.
That's true.
And most of them are not open still. If you go through the Kitchen Nightmares restaurant list, it's so depressing. Pull it out on your phone, like Kitchen Nightmare restaurants that have closed.
Fuck, it's upstairs.
It's literally like entire seasons. All the restaurants have closed. Like, it's like fucked. It's like, okay, well, Gordon couldn't help that much. It's almost as if maybe bad ownership was the problem all along that we can't really fix.
Gordon comes in, just screams in our restaurant for an hour, and then he's like, fuck, problem solved, I guess.
My job here is done.
I have no doubt some of those restaurants were helped and were much better off for it. But man, obviously, ultimately, what the TV network wants and what the restaurant wants are two very different things. Maybe Gordon wants both, but I mean, ultimately, it's like we're here to get the shots.
I've always wondered, like, how much contact time do they actually have with Gordon?
Apparently not that much.
Is it just like 2 days or something?
Yes, yeah,
if that.
Dude, I went on this rabbit hole because I was so fascinated about all of this.
Right.
I wanted to know everything about how this worked. Yeah, apparently it would not be that much. It was literally he would come in, do the film segments, and then leave.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Because he's like, I've remodeled the place to make it look more alive, and it's like,
no, your production team.
Your production team.
I'm like, what do you mean?
Like I've come up with new recipes. I'm like, Gordon, you're a 3-star Michelin chef. There ain't no fucking way you came up with recipes for this one fucking dingy ass restaurant, man.
No, it's literally. It just also it just wouldn't make sense because I assume the filming schedule would be so intense that it makes no sense that he would be hands on to that degree. No. Maybe when he's there, if you told me that he actually cares about it, I believe that. Like if when he's there and he's filming this stuff, but there's just no way they've had the time that they need.
Well, he has to care because that's his job. You know? So it's like that's kind then what he's getting paid to do.
And the show's so scripted. Like,
it is. Of course
it
is.
The same beat. So obviously, there's this part, and then we have the reconciliation, and then we have owner maybe admits that he's wrong or whatever. It's just like, all right, whatever.
So where's the part of the episode where it says bland?
Yeah, is there like an episode of like Kitchen Nightmares where the owner just refuses to admit that they're wrong or something?
Oh yeah. I've seen clips of it.
I need to watch more Kitchen Nightmares.
So there was a very famous episode.
Right.
I don't know. Do we even need to explain what Kitchen Nightmares is? Everyone fucking knows what this is, right? Like,
I think so.
So
Gordon Ramsay fixes a struggling restaurant.
Everyone has seen this.
Yes.
The literal clips have like 50 billion views on YouTube.
Yeah.
So there was one. It was the little baking company, right? What was it called again? Baking company. Gordon Nightmares, Kitchen Nightmares. Type it in.
Yeah.
It was like I think when that episode aired or when it came out, it was like the most Googled thing of that time.
Oh, wow.
This episode was so huge because it was like an hour-long one where they were just shouting and they never fixed anything. And everyone thought it was like fake. But after like having a lot of people go to the restaurant, this was like full legit. Like these people were like insane.
Right.
And they just somehow, these producers just stumbled upon this gold mine. Dude, I would love that job. Just finding restaurants that are fucked and going and like just find these crazy owners. That sounds like such a fun experience.
I want to know, like, what is the process of finding these restaurants? Right?
I wish.
I'm wondering, do they apply for the show or do they like kind of? I'm guessing people do apply for the show and they have some kind of system.
There was an application.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember because sometimes they mention it in the show that they applied or this person, because a lot of the times. I think initially they weren't exactly told what the TV show was. So a lot of them, they're just pitching like, do you want your restaurant to be helped on camera with Gordon Ramsay? Yes. And it's like, this is the shittest kitchen in all of North Hampshire or whatever. It's like, all right, sign up for that. Bit harsh. No one would want to eat here.
I'm sure there's a bunch of restaurants as well that are just like so much on the dying brink that they're like last hurrahs to just be like, well, Gordon Ramsay came here before it shut down 2 days later, you know? So we got our 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, Steve runs the worst Italian restaurant in all of Connecticut. He's an asshole. Gordon's gonna fix it.
I think the best like promotion they got for the restaurant is not like Gordon Ramsay coming in and fixing the fucking recipes and changing a few tables or some shit. It's being on fucking Kitchen Nightmares, right?
Yeah, of course.
My favorite entire segment of Kitchen Nightmares is when they're like they obviously the restaurant is closed, and they don't tell you this, but they don't also try and hide it. It's really weird. So there's always that segment where Gordon goes to the restaurant, and he wants to see how the restaurant functions. And obviously, it always goes wrong.
Of course,
it's a disaster, and the restaurant is filled with customers, right?
Yeah,
but they're like customers that has been invited because they know they're filming, right? Because you obviously can't just go in a restaurant, have a bunch of cameras, and get everyone to sign the waivers. Right? So they fill them with this thing, but they don't actually like tell you, the audience, that they kind of brought all these people.
Yeah.
But then suddenly all the customers start being picky about everything. And you're like, well, hold on a second. I feel like they're trying to make this a disaster. Like everything has been good and everything goes wrong. Everyone always ends up fighting. Someone storms out. It's like, there is no way this is the normal night of dining. And no way are these restaurants full on a normal night of dining.
No, of course not.
Yeah. Oh, you just remind me of like this fucking weird uncanny valley effect that I've had with like some reality TV shows recently. Have you watched like Britain's Got Talent like recently?
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, so there's one thing that they've added like in more recent seasons. I don't know when they implemented this, but I remember watching Britain's Got Talent like fucking 2006, 2000, like all the way back in university, in like the early seasons, and it was like, you know, it had the same kind of formula. But recently they've been like adding these shots, like these, what I would call like audience vox pops, right? Where the talent comes on stage and then there'll be like a vox pop of an like audience member commenting on the talent or something.
Yes, I have seen this.
And I'm like, this is so fucking weird, because there is no way you just like, you have good audio to just capture a random audience member. No. Someone hears a plant. It's like, you know when you see some of those like E3 trailers and they have like the fake gaming chatter or some of the trailers, that's what it fucking feels like, you know?
I think I've seen one where it was like a magician or something, and he kind of had like a unique look to him. And it just randomly as he's walking on stage, it just randomly cuts to this shot in the audience of these two girls who are like, he kind of fucking looks weird. And I'm like, we didn't need that. We really, that was an unnecessary reaction.
Reality TV has been like dying, so they're just doing crazier and crazier shit, right?
Yeah, it was just like, it's just such a weird thing that they've added, and it makes it feel even more fake, right? Because you know, especially now being in production, seeing how finicky audio is, there ain't no way you can fucking zoom in on just two random audience members just to hope that someone says something interesting about who's going on stage.
Not to mention the one that the clip that I just mentioned. I remember I was like, "There's no way this is real," because everyone is clapping in this huge room, and these two girls are whispering, and it's perfect audio, and I'm like, I don't see a mic on you, and you just happen to know to face the camera at that particular time. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I just want to know, do they just like get a random person in queue and just be like, yo, so I want you to say something really quirky when the guy comes on stage, okay? Just say something really quirky. Just comment on how he looks.
Just be mean.
Like
just be mean.
Just be really, really mean.
Yeah.
And then when they do the act, just be really surprised and say how great it was, right?
Like, oh, that was actually kind of surprising.
Producers are some of like the cruelest people on earth, dude. Some of the shit that they set up is so cruel. Tormenting people for fun.
Like, I mean, I've watched some videos recently just talking about like one of the most infamous Japanese live streams. I've
seen this.
I'm sure you guys have seen this video as well, because it like got recommended for like ages. But they literally trapped this poor Japanese guy in a room, in a like a random
the
house.
One in the late 90s, right?
In the late 90s. And he basically had to win his freedom through raffle tickets or raffle prizes, basically. And they fucking literally started him bare naked in this room. And he, I think, lived in the room for like months and months and months and months.
Nobu, is that it?
Nobu, that was it. That was his name,
Nobu Game Show. But it was like the TV show still ongoing. Not that segment, because it's a very famous comedy show in Japan.
Yes.
And they have just segments that they've just changed over the years. But I mean, it's really popular.
Yeah, and like, I think like the part that got me so fucking angry, right, was he was in this one apartment by himself for months, no social interaction, no like sometimes he couldn't even eat well because everything he won and everything he lived on depended on raffle tickets and raffle prizes, right? And so after months and months and months of living in this place, he wins his freedom, right? And they're like, the producers are like, we're going to reward you.
So he's been in there for months with no human contact, and he literally can only, and by raffle, there's like mail-in raffles. Like in Japan, you can win a lot of stuff via raffles by mailing in. Like there'll be they just gave him a stack of magazines. Yeah. They were like, enter everything.
Yeah. And so he finally wins his freedom. And then they reward him with this nice trip to Korea, and he has a fun day at the park. You know, they film him in like an amusement park and stuff like that. And then they blindfold him for his final prize.
Yeah.
And then they take him to this mysterious place. And then they ask him to take the blindfold off, and it's another room. And then the producer just says, strip your clothes right now. And you just see the soul leave from his body. And it's just, what? I'm like, you're watching this and you think, I'm literally watching torture right now.
It's like a snuff film.
Yeah.
It's literally a snuff film.
Yeah.
Yeah, Japanese game shows have been notoriously not very chill, but people sign the waivers and they do it.
Yeah,
people agree to this stuff.
Yeah, and especially in Japan, I feel a lot of like comedians that are up and coming, or kind of maybe not selling as much, or are open to doing like any kind of job at this point just to like stay relevant. Are the ones who throw themselves into these situations. Because I remember like there was another. I don't remember if it's the same show, but there was another show similar to that where like these two comedians were locked in two separate rooms and they couldn't get in contact with each other for I think it was like a week or 2 weeks. And there was one door out of their room and it leads to an open paddock that has a bunch of farm animals.
Right.
And what they have to do is that they have to survive purely off of the breast milk of those animals that they catch for that day. For like 2 weeks. And there's no, and the one rule is like, and the one rule is you're not allowed to drink water. So like your food and your like drink and everything is purely based on A, how many animals you can catch, and B, how much milk you can get out of it.
So someone to get that boy some milk to another fucking level, man.
I'm just imagining this and I'm like, God, the horrendous shits that they must have just had.
Oh God.
You're just drinking milk for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
It's just horrible for your health.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I obviously begs the question of how real is it? Obviously, if you're taking it at face value, it seems fucking awful.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was some behind the scenes stuff involved where
I
it
fucking
wasn't
hope
as
so.
bad. You have to hope,
really
right?
hope
You have
so,
to hope.
yeah.
I mean, with the Nobu situation, I'm like, the whole situation played out a bit too well for the producers not to be like, I feel like the producers decided what to send him at what time, because just as he was running out of food or something, he would get a small W, like a whole bag of rice or something, and it would be like it's like kind of like an entire story in a sense.
Yeah, it was weird. So he was sending like a few hundred a day, right?
Yeah,
he was entering.
Yeah.
He was spending like hours a day just like writing up for things. Yeah.
Short video about it. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
We can't really do it justice because we're remembering.
It's fucked.